Hello and welcome. Yeah, I already said that. Alright, we'll say it again. Hello, welcome to the Psychedelic Galaxy Lounge. The place where those magical noise, that magical noise that I call music, exists. 24/7, 365, you dig it? Before we start the countdown to blast off today, I have to throw in a couple of things here. On our last meeting, I made some, some of the usual faux pas, and I want to make a correction on that. But that's how that works. And also, I want to thank you for sitting through such a long episode last time. But I couldn't help myself. As Monterey Pop, what can I say, man? I mean, there's more bands we could have talked about, there's more music we could have listened to, but it was long enough. Anyway, so let's start off with the first little boo-boo. And I made a remark about the bands that Electric Flag had influenced, and one of them was 10 Wheel Drive. And I said that the girl singer in that band's name was Agena Ravens, and it's not. It's Ganya Ravens. Now, I don't know where that came from. I don't, Ganja, yeah, but Ganya, I don't know. Anyway, that's her name, and that's all cool. And she's on, she does a radio show on Little Steven's Underground Garage on Sirius Radio. Check her out sometime. The second thing I wanted to talk about was when I was talking about Buffalo Springfield performing, and they did For What It's Worth, the Stephen Still song. And I said it was based on the LA riots. Well, that's not quite true. It's based on the Sunset Strip riots that took place in November in 1966. And the LA riots, which are really the Watts riots, I believe that was in 65. Anyway, that might be wrong too, but needless to say, Stephen wrote that song on the Sunset Strip riots. Okay, now, the last one, thank goodness I can only think of 3. I had said that some of the festivals that the Monterey Pop Festival itself had spawned was, get there, here it comes, the Atlantic City Pop Festival. No such beast, never happened, never existed. It's the Atlanta Pop Festival. Okay. The Atlanta Pop Festival. Okay. The last big one ever. Anyway. Now, my excuse for all this would be I'm only human, but I'm not so sure about that sometimes. So just use my info to use it as a jumping off point. So you can figure out your own investigational type-izing yourself, but your own musical knowledge. Dig? Just figure it out for yourself. I'm just a stepping stone, and you can find out the right answers if you just search. But anyway, whee! So let's take off and get going on the episode's faux pas for today, or the flubba-dubs, whatever you want to call them. Enio and I were talking about doing a folk psych thing. And I actually put 80% of the show together, and then I said, man, I need to do a rock show, because I just was craving loud and in your face. So we'll do the folk psych thing next time, and it's going to get somewhat in depth. Anyway, so first out of the danger zone today is a band called The Open Mind. These cats formed in southwest London in 1963. And they were called the Apaches. They did covers, and they gained quite a following doing their covers. Dances, whatnot. They lost a member, gained a member, and then they morphed into the Drag Set. Well, that name was Sticky Wicket for the boys. They had a lot of people asking them the obvious questions about their name, but they played through anyway, and they were pretty good. They did a 45 in 1967 called Day and Night. Good, really good one. It was a beat, boom, mod thing. And these cats you know, started backing other bands because they were so tight, and besides playing their own gigs, they were just backing people up coming to town, like John Lee Hooker, Wilson Pickett, Jimmy Witherspoon, and they even backed an undiscovered singer, Mr. Joe Cocker, in 1967. But they mostly played 2 gigs a night. Whew! Dig it, I'm tired just thinking about that. 2 gigs a night, and they're probably making no money on top of that. And sleeping in the van, been there, done that. I don't think so. They then changed into the Open Mind after that. So they've done this revolving door thing with members, and they mishmashed up a bunch of different sounds, and then they came out as the Open Minds. So let's taste the delights of this 45 called Magic Potion, and I will see you on the other side. These cats got it going on, baby. They ain't no bowl of soggy cornflakes, man. Sort of rock, psych, Stonesy things happening here. This is the album. It's a reissue. It's the only one they did that I know of. And I pulled that song off of the 45 that comes with the record. It was not on the album, but it's cool. There's a A and B side, so Magic Potion's A and Cast a Spell is the B side, and then they even throw in the drag sets 45 Day and Night, and its B side, Get Out of My Way. Cool. It's very cool. Comes with it comes with a poster, fold-out advertising poster, and then it's got a really nice booklet that's got all kinds of cool stuff in it, flyers, a real good history. This is a nice put-together package. Well worth it. Not that crazy price. Thumbs up on the thermometer. You got to get this one. It's really good. So dig it. Shooting into orbit next is a truly great bluesy soul singer by the name of Terry Reid, and Terry Reid never got his due as far as I'm concerned. Now I'm not saying I'm biased towards this cat, but this man is so heavy, man. He's really where it's at. Truly a space rock flying around the stratosphere, baby, and doing its thing, trying to lighten up the universe. At 15, he was playing in the Jaywalkers. That was not his band. It was just a band he had been in. There was some other cat, I think Johnny Walker and the Jaywalkers, I think the band was called. Anyway, pretty popular band. And they opened for the Stones at the Albert Hall in 1966. Being that he was obviously was young, 15, 16, he was kind of restless, and he left that band. And then in 66, he had picked up 2 other guys, a drummer and a keyboard player, and they went out and started really making a noise for themselves. And they wound up opening for Cream in 1968 on their U.S. tour. I dig that. That's pretty far out. That gives him a lot of credibility. That show must have been far out with him opening it up and winding it out, man. I mean, whew! Man, far out, really. Lucky guy. Anyway, here's a tidbit from the second LP that I really think, that one really is his best LP. There's 3 that's out there that I know of, but this is the second. And this is called Super Lungs. And it's a tune by Donovan, no less. And I'll be waiting on the back porch for you guys to come on out after this cut. Insane vocals and man, really groovy, man. I mean, really groovy. Here's another nut, a not so kind of a crumb. Dig this. He was asked to join another group in the making. Now, wait for it. Here it comes. Led Zeppelin. How's that for a career changer? What a mind blower, man. Here's a record. Check that out. This is readily available. The whole album's good. I mean, it's really good. He does a version of Highway 61 Revisited, and then he bounces it into a tune called Friends, and then he bounces back out of it into Highway 61 again. It's a great album, really great album. He's a fair guitarist. It wasn't like he did a lot of leads and crazy stuff, but it's good. It's very good. Yeah, well, anyway, we know that since he didn't make it into Led Zeppelin, we know the history of what happened after that. It didn't work out for him, evidently. He auditioned, Jimmy Page asked him, and it didn't gel. It didn't work for him. I mean, he's got a range, but it just didn't work out. So Terry suggested a friend of his to audition, and it was Robert Plant. So we all know the rest is history. So Reed still tours today. He's over in Europe right now. I know that. I've seen him. I personally haven't seen him yet, but I do know that he was out here on the West Coast last year or the year before doing a date, and of course it was sold out. He was playing a small club, can't get in there. But catch him if you can. Be there or be square, babies. Right on. So, staying with our British tour de force musical lesson for today, your captain introduces a band called Leafhound. Alright. It's no mystery what these space travelers are all about. These gentlemen are referred to as stoner rock. Once again, they come from the city of choice, London calling. Dig it. What's in the water there, man? There's tons of bands came out of that. I mean, now I don't know so much about what's happening over there, but for a flash, and I mean a serious flash, there was a whole lot of things going on. We had new bands every day, and they were all just breaking barriers and tearing down walls and doing all that kind of good stuff. So these cats formed in 1969, and they were originally called Black Cat Bones. And here's a little tidbit. Paul Kossoff and Simon Kirk, who were two original members, left to create a big old band in Europe by the name of Free. Now, yeah, they were big in England and in Europe, not so much across the pond here. That's kind of a bummer, but pick up some of the Free material. It's good. I like it. Another member, a guy named Rod Price, he left to, do I can say it or not, to form a band called, here it comes, Foghat. I got it up. Whew, that boogie band sound, not exactly my cup of tea and crumpets, you might say, but they were big in their time and in their moment. These change-ups between the singer leaving and Kossoff and Kirk leaving changed the band into Leafhound, and they were a bluesy psych rock blowout. And let's float downstream and leap on to a tune called Freelance Friend. Hurry back now. Pass that bottle my way, man. Let me take a breather here for a second, because I'm there. I'm there again. I'll be right back as soon as I can compose my state of mind, if possible. There's nothing wrong with your Tiwi yet. Stay tuned. We're just having technical difficulties. Yowza! The death of dance music and the birth of heavy bottom end and loud guitars. This is the album, and it's called Grower of Mushrooms. I ain't gonna talk about them French truffles, baby. They're talking about them other kind of mushrooms. You get all that in there, Mr. Cameraman? Okay, so these invaders from Loudland, and I do mean that, opened the portal for bands like Damnation of Adam Blessing, Frigid Pink, Cactus, Atomic Rooster, etc., etc., on and on and on. But these guys were not the nice boys you want to take home to meet your mother, unless your mother is in an outlaw motorcycle gang. And I've known a few, but we won't go there this time. Maybe in a future one. Ooh, I gotta be careful about that. No names, no names. A singer from that band, wow, he was belting it out, and he went into, I don't know if I'm repeating myself or not. You know, I get this way sometimes where I'm drifting, you know, can't help myself. It's just the way I work. But anyway, he left and formed Atomic Rooster and Cactus. And I saw Cactus, and man, they were L-O-U-D with an exclamation point and heavy. Whew! So, that's a keeper. That's a thumbs up on the thermometer. No question. You got to get that one. And that one's reasonable too. That's readily available. Good luck trying to ever find an original copy, because if you do, man, it's going to be 3 big figures easy. And so, you know, don't worry about it. You know, get a reissue. A couple of things before I leave the planet for my return voyage to my homelands. We put together an email so that you wonderful viewers could contact me and tell me what you think and tell me what you'd like me to talk about. Just don't do no Journey. I am not going to do anything about that band. I'm sorry. Hate me all you want. Anyway, I also want to let you know that if you are out there perusing the YouTubing thing, there's this cat, and he does a show called Dots and Loops. And, you know, all the LP channels, if you've checked any of the other ones out, especially the ones that are in this vinyl community group, which I am not part of. I mean, that's cool if you are, I'm just not. They seem to all replicate the same format. They go to swap meets, they go to garage sales, they go flea markets, and they show you their finds, and then they talk about their holy grails and all this stuff, but you know, that's obviously not where we're here. I'm more of an edumacation kind of a channel, you know what I mean? Dig that, you know? But they are too, but I'm trying to be a little bit more educatable. Anyway, this cat is, he does pretty much the same thing, but he's more, I don't know, approachable. I think that's the word I want to say. He's someone you can listen to, I mean, and he's funny, and I recommend him, but don't forget about moi. You know, moi is telling you all this. So, lastly, I want to talk about, there's a new 45 out by Jacob Dylan, and it's Crosby, Stills and Nash's tune, well, Stephen Stills' tune, Questions, and it was on the first LP, and it's going on to a soundtrack for a new movie that's coming out, and it's called Echoes from the Canyon, and that's about Laurel Canyon and all the hep stuff that really, that, if you get a chance to go down to LA, it's still really cool. I mean, it's Laurel Canyon is still a pretty far out place. But that's where everybody was at, you know. I mean, all the musicians were living up there, the artists were all up there. It was a pretty happening place. This tune that they did is a little slower, and it's a little more mellower version than what's on the first Crosby, Stills and Nash, but it's got Eric Clapton playing guitar and Stephen Stills. So if you can find it, get it. It's good. It's great. Let's see. Oh, lastly, but not leastly, if I can find it, the bumper music we're playing today is hits from Bollywood from the psychedelic years. Hey, I dig it. You know, here's the deal. It was, I know, I'm going to have to say it, it was a record store day record. And, you know, I badmouth record store day because I don't like standing in a queue, and I don't like getting muscled out of the way by some yo-yo that's going to end up buying that record, walking out the store, taking a picture of it with his camera on his phone, and loading it up on Craigslist to sell it for twice the amount. Forget that. And to be honest with you, most of the stuff that's out there doesn't always trip my trigger. But this one does. And I would say if you can find it, it's from 2016. It's a good record. Check it out. I like it. Anything that's even remotely Indian or Bollywood or anything, I'm digging it. So, lastly, but not ever so leastly, we've got a live member with us today from the Peanut Gallery, and he's a real blast from my past. a true traveler along the road from space to here. And I want to bring him on now. Come on in here, mister. This is my old-time, long-time friend, Wayne. Man, this cat is where it's at. We've known each other for a hell of a long time. And we're going to try and get him to do something besides the Silent Bob treatment on future shows and add his 2 cents. I know, it could be dangerous. You know.
Remember that.
Yeah, I will. I'm sure I'll be biting myself in the ass for that one. So what do you think so far about all this? I mean, is it
Well,
be careful.
It looks like your bedroom from 30 years ago.
All right, there you go. See,
I feel like we're just sitting there and listening to the record and never left
smoking
the
a
house.
bowl, and yeah, then we're still there.
We didn't do bowls, we did joints.
We did joints, and they were more like we rolled them up in newspaper and did the Sunday section. That's how big they were. But anyway, I'm not gonna get too far into that. I probably have family watching this show. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna get our man back, and we're gonna break it down so that he can choose something that he wants to be able to talk about, and we're just gonna break it all up and switch gears and change it around and make it happen, upside down, inside out, you know? So that's very soon. Now, remember, my fellow passengers, here's a little bit of here's a little words of wisdom before I leave you today, and it is that success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts, man. That, you know, you gotta write that down and put it on the refrigerator and remember that. So no matter how crazy and bad things get, you know, you gotta stay with that one. So, crank up the volume because only you can destroy your eardrums. So, until the next time that we meet, remember, we are all one.